Welcome here. I am Linda Paulowska. I am a storyteller who shares life stories, but I don't just stop at storytelling. I actually dive deep to understand people and their journeys. My goal is to improve human experiences, which led me to the field of service design. I am now studying for an Erasmus Mundus master's degree in service design, where my class is filled with passionate colleagues from all around the globe. And since I love human stories, I couldn't resist sharing their amazing experiences with all of you. So I warmly invite you to this podcast series where we will talk about the journeys of my classmates traveling the world and, of course, diving into service design. So today my wonderful guest is Amena Mohamed.
Look at you. This is so good. Yes.
I was learning to pronounce it. So she is from Egypt. So hello, Amena.
Hello, Linda. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and as usual, I prepare a little surprise for my guests. And I have taken time to reflect how I see you and what I think about you, and I have written down some things. Now, this might be a surprise for you.
Yes, it is. Oh my God, now I'm flattered already.
Yeah, so first of all, me and Amena, I think we have some special bond here because we are both mothers. And since our first conversation, whenever we get together, we share things about motherhood, like how we gave birth to our children and how fast they grow and how much we love them. So I think that's like a very special bond that we have.
Right.
And, but something very special about Amena, she is super charismatic and outgoing, and she's a great public speaker. And it's not just me saying it, because she has received appreciation from very notable people here in Latvia when she did some important speech. And I think, that's something that is worth to highlight. It's her public speaking abilities. And and she is very strong in training and in coaching. And I think she is super, super good at explaining complicated things in simple ways. Amena is very professional because she also has a strong background in design. So she's in the field for a while. And Amena has great leadership skills. And even more, I think she is super inspiring. And when I think of Amena, we have had some very deep and personal conversations. And I know her personal journey is so inspiring and so strong that I don't know how much we're going to share here, but I believe that someday we might read a book about Amena's personal journey, because it will definitely inspire many women. She is super inspiring. She is very beautiful and super smiley, and I think she will be in some leadership positions, that's for sure. So hello, Amena.
Oh my God. No, this is too much. Thank you so much. No, I'm deeply touched. This is a lot. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, because I really take some time to think about the people, because we never get time to sit down and to think and to reflect how we see the people. And I have been with you together nearly for a year now, so it's kind of like we have learned something about each other.
A lot, I think.
So, Amena, tell me, how are you doing?
I am doing good today. There's a lot of mixed feelings. I'm thinking a lot. Is it a good thing that we're finally getting out of Latvia? Or is it a bad thing because we've been living here for 10 months? Mm-hmm. Latvia is super far from home. Different culture, different people, the weather oh my God. So I don't know. I think I'm feeling good today.
Yeah.
Came from the beach and
Yeah, to give a context, we are off from classes, so we are on holidays, and Amena is spending some days here.
Right.
And as it turns out, she rented a car and went for a small trip here.
Yes, I was so excited. Actually, because I'm a fan of cars, motorcycles. I just love driving anyway. So I'm very happy. I feel that this is a success for me. That yes, I'm getting out of Latvia with one clean drive. Enjoyed it.
That's good. That's
Yes.
very good. So, Amna, we are here to get to know you. So, tell me a bit about your background. Where are you from? If you want to mention your age and
Sure. Okay. To start, my name is Amena Mohamed. My name is kind of unique, even in my own country, in my own language. Not a lot of people know how to pronounce, and this is why I am Amena, Amina, Amna. Like you, just name it, and you will find me. Yes, yes. So I'll be answering right away. I am 35 years old. I am a mother of two beautiful boys. They are teens. They are not really kids. So I have Sharif, he's 14, and Malik, he's 12. They live in the United States of America, in Texas with their father. And I graduated business administration. My major is management. I graduated back in 2009.
Okay, but let's not jump into the bachelor's degree yet because I want to know, like, where did you grow up? Did you had
Yes.
siblings in the
Sure.
town where you grew up or the
Yes.
city? Sorry.
Yes, I'm born and raised in Cairo. This is the capital of Egypt. And I have two beautiful siblings. My brother, he's older than me by a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then I have a younger sister, 11 years younger.
Oh.
Yes. So me and my brother, we grew up together. There's only a very small difference between me and him, an age difference, I mean.
Yeah.
So, oh my God, we used to fight all the time. I don't think we were really getting along or best friends together all the way until we made it to high school. This is when you start like, oh, he's not a bad person. I can get along with him. And same, like vice versa. But right now, my brother is married. He's living in the United States of America. Has been living there for 13 years. So yeah, we're living all the way across the world. And both my parents are still in Cairo with my sister. And
What is your little sister doing?
She's an engineer. She is an app developer. She's an app developer. Yes. This is what I
Interesting.
know for sure. Yeah, and my brother also is an engineer. He works for Ford in Detroit, Michigan.
Okay.
He is a team leader for embedded systems, something very interesting, but I don't understand a word from it. Yeah.
Okay. That sounds promising.
Right.
Tell us a bit about education system in Egypt. Do you have like 12 grades or?
12 grades. I'm sorry, I'm bad at math. They are playing with it all the time, but I believe that we were the only one of the rare countries all over the world that we have only 11 years, but that's when they added another extra year in primary. So there are 5 primary years and then 3 middle school and 3 high school. Yes, so I graduated only 11 years.
Okay.
But now it's 12. Now we're even with all the world. And I don't know about Latvia. I might know a bit about Latvia when it comes to education. But it is this where we have a governmental school. They're not expensive. You pay very very kind of charity or something. Yet we are around between 45 to 70 students per class.
45 to 70 kids. Teenagers.
Inside one class.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. And we used to receive the education by a teacher shouting, saying over and over the things. Unfortunately, back on my days, it's allowed to hit the kids. So we used to get hit with a ruler or something if we didn't do our homeworks, get punished really bad. So I would say I grew up hating the school very much. And then you feel the pressure when there are other kids that they are really smart. Like, getting, the aces.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
best
like
grades.
50 out of 50, whatever. And unfortunately, my brother was one of them. And that's why probably we grew up having this issues between each other. Or this is from my point of view. Like, he knows nothing about this. It's all inside my head, I didn't like studying at all. And I just didn't understand anything. I was lost. I hated school. I hated to wake up. It made none sense for me to wake up in the morning, leave the comfort, warm bed, and to go to a place that I hate with a lot of other students. It was a nightmare, to be honest. Graduating high school, it started getting a little bit better. Maybe I had some cool friends in the high school. When you go to the high school and it's like you're looking up to the cool kids. I managed to have this in probably my, because I'm an extrovert person, I managed to get a lot of friends from all kinds, like the cool, the sleepy, like from like we have that saying in Egypt, from each, what is it called? From each farm, a flower, something. This is just the translation. So I managed to have a lot of friends in high school. I started enjoying the school, not the studying though. So going to the school started not to be that bad and boring. But yet I still hated the school. And once I finished high school and then I joined the university.
Was it, do you have like private or public universities?
Yes. And I joined the private university where I studied business administration. And this is when I started really enjoying myself in life. And the main reason was because I'm studying in English. I loved the English language since I was young. I would spend a lot of hours in front of the mirror, either in the bathroom or in my room, practicing to speak in English in different accents. Okay. American, British, I enjoyed that very much. So when I had the opportunity to apply actually for university and study the entire 4 years, all the subjects and everything in English, I was like, yeah, Father, this is what I do. Please, please, please. So yeah, I made it to university. And then I started being a good student. Like I started getting real grades.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would get A's. Like when I get a B, I will be really upset. Still, the education system in Egypt, unfortunately, there is a teacher and there are students and there are mumbling for hour, 2, 3, 4, 5. We spend 8 hours in the school with a recess for like 30 minutes, and the rest of the day we're just listening. But right now, there are a lot of international students, like international schools and private schools, and they're trying to engage the people. Like they started studying a little bit more. So I think and I hope that the education system is changing a little bit for the younger generation.
Yeah, is it expensive to study in a private university?
It depends. It depends on which type of university. So I would say that my private university would be like, it was one of the cheapest private universities. Yet, for example, the American University in Cairo is the best private university in Egypt. And it will cost you a lot of money. Even if converted in euros, it's a lot of money. Like crazy. Like I have no idea why would I spend this amount of money and still have my kid studying in Egypt. I would send them abroad. Abroad is cheaper. But we have this type of universities in Egypt, like American University in Cairo, German University in Cairo, BUE, the British University in Cairo. All of them are accredited from, like, we are an extension for universities that are already on those countries, but it's just crazily expensive.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then, like, I have some questions here because I found your experience very interesting. You told me just now that you hated school, but your work experience is related to school. Right. You was actually working in educational institutions.
Right.
So you graduated the business administration, and then at some point you had kids in the middle somewhere, and then you started to work in the educational institutions.
Right.
Where did you go in full, like with a full energy to change something, or how did it like?
Well, I'll tell you, the story started. It's a very random story, very random. So I graduated university and I got pregnant right away. So I had my first child, Sharif, and then the second son, Malik. And I used to travel from Egypt to the United States of America to deliver the boys there for them to get the citizenship. Yes, this is a lot of people from Egypt, or I would say a lot of people from third world countries would do that with Britain, Canada, and the United States of America until Britain stopped to do that. Their laws, they changed the law. But the United States are always open. Canada, there are tricks, like you need to read a lot about their rules and regulations. But the law in the States is if there is a baby that got born on our land, that means that they are citizens of our land. So I didn't start working right away, and I stayed a house mom for 8 years.
But you got married ever also. So
Oh, yeah. Did I forget to say that?
Yeah, like just to clarify.
Yeah, just to clarify. I got married when I was 19-year-old. So got engaged when I was 18 and got married when I was 19. And if anyone is curious, that was not the norm at all.
I was just going to ask.
It was not the norm. Like on the days and the ages of my grandma, that was a norm. But then people elaborated a lot, and they're like, there is feminism and independence and whatever. Like whatever is happening in Europe is happening also in Egypt and in Africa, but it takes a little bit, like a while afterwards. So it wasn't the norm in my days. Now it's a norm again, one more time.
Really?
Because it's the freedom of choice, of course.
Okay.
Where there is a freedom of choice, then I'm free to do whatever I want. I want to get married when I'm 17. I want to get married when I'm 40 or something. But nobody forces us to do that. So back on my days, it wasn't the norm. But I fell madly in love, and I got married when I was 19. So I stayed from 19 until 27. I wasn't doing anything in my life. I was traveling back and forth between Egypt and the United States of America. And then I ended up living in LA, California for a couple of years, where I just helped my cousin. He had a dental office. I worked as a financial coordinator, but it was nothing serious. And that's it. So when we went back to Egypt, I was 27-year-old. And that's when I got separated from my ex-husband. And this is the most random story ever. My son, Sharif, the older one, he was studying in an international school. I went.
Okay, in Egypt.
Yes. After this separation, I went because I couldn't afford any more to pay his fees. Because when I started getting the separation, my ex-husband said that he wouldn't grant me the divorce, and he wouldn't grant me any support or anything, and he wouldn't take care of the kids or anything. I think it was just a mechanism of pressure, so as not to leave him or just get a divorce. But long story short, I felt short in hands because I didn't work. I didn't have any savings. No house, no car, nothing at all. So I was walking in the school to tell them, thank you so much for taking care of my son. I would like to take his paperwork because I was going to apply in a governmental school, just like the free ones. And they asked me like, hey, would you like to work with us? You have a really good accent. I was like, well, I haven't worked as a teacher before. It was like, no worries, you have a good accent and it's just an early childhood education, and you're going to start as a teacher assistant, like a TA. So you're going to have another teacher working with you, whatever. So I was like, yeah, sure, let's try. And then this is when I started. I was working in a diplomatic school in Egypt. It's called Pakistan International School.
In Cairo,
In Cairo, yes. So it was only for international students that are not carrying the Egyptian nationality. And I was working in a classroom with very diverse nationalities. A lot of kids aged 5 to 7. They were coming from different parts of worlds. And there were kids that are coming from Yemen, and in Yemen there was a war, and other people are coming from Iraq, another war, another kids coming from China, cultural shock. They don't understand anything. Chinese is very complicated, and the English, they don't know how to. So I started feeling the dilemma of, is it really about education? Is it about education, or is it about those kids and their psychology and their needs? They're super frustrated. And right away, I started thinking, as a mother, of course, about my kids. And I started relating to when I was a child, why I hated very much going to school. It was also like, I think my psychological needs were never out. Nobody heard them. And and I'm sure if anybody heard them, they would have never been able to help me. Like, what are we supposed to do? Am I supposed to ask my parents to not send me to school? I wouldn't do it for my kids. I need them to learn. So that's when I started looking. I was like, okay, I need to do something about that. I need to understand. Like, probably the title of my life, starting from 27 all the way until 35, there is this one title: I need to understand.
It's actually like, have I see you a lot as well. You are like super interested to empathize with people and to understand. And I think that is what makes you good in explaining complicated things in an easy way.
Maybe. So because I, every single time I open my mouth and try to explain something, I explain it with my heart. I explain it with my emotions. It's not coming out of my brain. The brain, I could go, use internet, read something, and come just say it out loud with you. Like blah, 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 blah. No. I always feel what I want to say. And that's why I'm always playing in the field where I can relate to. Relate with any of my previous experience. When I was a child, relationship with my parents, relationship with my brother, when I was a basketball player, when I traveled, when I got married really young, when I first got depression and I didn't know that it was a real depression that I always relate to a lot of situations that is just related to humanity. It's not about a student, it's not about a parent, it's not about an engineer, it's not about a mechanic, it's about humanity. We all have the brain, and we all have the heart, and there's a lot of complex things happening deep inside. So I just wanted to understand. So I applied to study at the American University in Cairo, to study a diploma in education for the early childhood education. So I studied for a year and a half. So I got certified to be educator. And only in this journey, in this year and a half, I knew that education, they didn't teach us. Like, it wasn't the first thing that they taught us how to teach. The first subject was actually psychology. We had to understand this little kids. And then there was technology. And then there was learning styles. And I figured out right away, I was like, yes, finally there is an answer for this sentence that I used to say to tell myself when I was young. There's something wrong with me. Only when I studied this diploma when I was 28 years old, I knew that there was nothing wrong with me. My learning style is completely different than an educator or a teacher standing there and talking endlessly. The brain has a capacity. My attention span has a capacity. My understanding has a capacity. Some people will learn by writing. Some others will learn by listening. Some others will learn by singing, dancing. We are different.
Some needs touching or...
Exactly. And I was like, bingo, there is nothing wrong with me. And along the journey of this diploma, I became an educator that is aware of what's happening. And of course, in this journey, I fell in love with psychology because I had a lot of questions about my parents when I was young. I had a lot of questions about my ex-husband. Why would someone love you, act this weird? Why would a teacher scream? Why would a mom hit? Why? I had a lot of questions. And I fell in love with psychology. And then after this diploma, so I spent 3 years, almost 3 years at Pakistan International School until I decided that, okay, kids, I will kiss you goodbye now. Thank you so much. I am into education. I believe that learning is different, but it's time to go to the adult world.
Okay, because in your experience, I have some, if I'm pronouncing it correct, like iceberg, Egypt?
Iceberg, yes.
What is that?
Yeah. So this is the transformation, like the first transformation from teacher to early childhood education to the environment of business, that I left the school and I joined the startup. This startup was working in the field of professional development.
Okay.
They were getting the teachers ready to educate. And I became part of this. I worked as a business developer, sales. So I would learn how to pitch. I would learn how to write a proposal. I would learn how to prepare content. So as an educator, they would give me the content already. It was a British school, so we were following Cambridge and Oxford. But now you need to, like in the adult world, you come up with your own content. So I studied something called instructional designer. So the instructional designer is the art of writing the content, putting in consideration everything that I have learned in the diploma. The learning styles, the psychology, the attention span, the game-based learning, how to engage, everything.
Yeah.
So it made sense. Like my entire journey was pieces. And the more I walk, the more they click. The more I walk, the more I click. It's not like they are scattered all over the all over the place and they are not relatable to each other. No, I made them work. I put the bits and pieces, and I knew that this is my strength. I need to build on it. So from Zarix to learning lab, again with instructional designer, operations manager, customer relations, because again, so extrovert, I have business administration, I know how to write proposals, I'm a trainer, I'm an instructional designer, and now I'm in the world of learning and development industry for adults. So no more kids anymore, this is adults. Those are companies that wants to train their employees. There's the HR, and now the departments are learning and development, and like they are evolving a lot, and it's all about development, like the psychological development for employees in order to grow, make money, whatever. So from Zarix to learning lab to learn Amena, all of that was in the learning and development until iSpark. It is still in the learning and development, but they are targeted to develop the youth. They believe that they need to invest in the youth between high school and like high schoolers, university and fresh grads, preparing them for the market. And this market is not about, hey, come, I'll teach you. Come, I'll teach you engineering. No, it's not about that. They teach them life skills. And now I forgot in the previous journey in the first company that I started at Zarix. This is when I got a boot camp for in 2018, a boot camp in a place called Luxor. Luxor is in Egypt, and this is a good fact that Luxor in Egypt, it contains one third of the monuments of the world. Okay. It's in Egypt, like the real fair. I call it the downtown of the pharaohs. It was literally the downtown. The entire city is an open museum. It's crazy. It's beautiful. So we went there for 5 days for a boot camp to learn something called design thinking.
Okay, and this is
thinking. What is design thinking? They said it's a problem-solving process. It's an innovative problem-solving methodology.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. And again, it clicked very much because design thinking is all about human-centered approach. They're not inventing the wheel. Any designer would an artist would start like, hey, draw an apple.
Yeah.
They will start the process and give you an apple. Hey, I need an application. I will start studying the applications outside, know how to build an application, and I will give you the application. But what's different in this design thinking, which is, I would say, cousins with service design, because it starts with the needs.
Yeah.
And then now it drops the curtain again, back to my childhood, my needs as a child, my needs as a student, my needs as a wife, My needs as an ex-wife. That's why I got a divorce. My needs to learn more about education. My needs to leave the kids and go to the adults. My needs, my needs, my needs. It was a bingo for me, a big bam, bingo. Design thinking. Thank you so much. There is something for the people like me that they have it naturally. Empathy.
So that happened in 2018.
18, yes.
2018.
Yes.
And then just a question, when did you develop your public speaking skills? Because I would never imagine you as being a housewife and being so confident on the stage. Because there was even one very well-known Latvian coach, speaker, TV personality who told you once that...
Svargos?
Yeah,
Yes,
I think
his name is Svargos,
yeah,
right?
yeah, he's well-known TV personality.
Yes.
Did he tell you that you could make money with public
Yes.
speaking? Yeah, and
Yes,
this is
he said I could get a job out of that, just make money out of public speaking.
Yeah, and this doesn't click for me, housewife. At what point, what?
And also to add on that, our social research teacher,
Yeah.
She gave me this feedback by the end of the subject, gave me the grade, and she said on a side note, I would like to invite you to consider academia. You're a very great teacher. The way that you deliver I think I don't have a concrete answer for that. I believe that I'm an extrovert. I'm an easygoing. I studied psychology, so I understand people. I'm a good listener. I'm a good when you put again, remember the puzzle, the pieces just made sense. When you put them all together, there's nothing that I'm exerting. To be honest, I'm thanking God. This is this is a gift. I didn't buy it. It was given to me, and I think every single time I hear someone would compliment me for my good speaking tactics or whatever, I would be very thankful that might be I am utilizing it correctly. So.
But the confidence to speak, I can understand, confidence, it grows.
It grows.
Yeah, it grows. Yeah. But so how did you, when did you start to speak? When did you start to realize, okay, I'm good at it. I can go on the stage and pitch and I will be good at it.
Well, this is a fact. I have never pitched before. I have been into the stage because of this communication skills. I started training, and training is everything that you need to know. You train people. If you want to train people, you need to understand people in order to have them sit in front of you for 4 and sometimes 8 hours and listen to you, right? So with training comes a little bit of confidence. With compliments, you add on that, you top on that. And then again, there is nothing that it's not something good in me. I was gifted that by God. Thanks, alhamdulillah, in Arabic. This is gonna be now moving forward because I'm talking you cornered me to speak about what I do good, and I really don't consider that this is me. Alhamdulillah, this is a gift from Allah. Allah means God in Arabic, but I believe that with the teaching and training in psychology and communication, I got promoted when I was 29. I started being a manager. I've been a in the middle management since I was 29, all the way before I come here. So I've been a manager for the last 6 years. With the manager comes a responsibility. There are a team that you're leading. So, and then I was a customer relations manager. So customer relations, that you mean that you speak to very important clients. Sometimes the client is the head of HR and sometimes the client is the CEO. So there was a lot of acting from me again in front of the mirrors. There was different clothes. You need to know when to put what in front of whom. Is it a blazer or is it just the sneakers and leggings? So I think...
Just a side note, Amena is very into fashion, I think. She changes a lot.
I got this award like SDSI fashionista. You didn't know?
No, I didn't know. I wasn't
Ooh.
attending the party time.
I am the fashionista of SDSI. Thank you.
Yeah, but like at some point, I remember you had this very like red jacket, and I sent you a message in class. You look
Yes,
great today,
yes,
and it's
yes.
like that because I don't understand. Like you are here for 1 year. Where do you get all the clothes here? Because like we all have suitcases.
All of them are coming with me from Egypt. I didn't buy anything from Latvia.
How many suitcases do you have?
I came with 3. 3 big one and 1 carry-on. Yeah, this is crazy. But I love, I'm hijabi.
Yeah.
So I'm covered. So maybe playing with the colors, and it gives me more happiness and confidence that I can't actually show my hair and that so I think it's replacing this for me, for my own self, so as not to get bored.
Oh, when we talk about your life, I don't understand like how do you make it happen, because it's so full, because there is like stay-at-home mom, there are 2 children, there is like learning, there is growth, there is fashion, there is like so many things happening, and now here. So we stopped at 2018 when you got to the boot camp in design thinking. So that's when you realized what is design thinking. That's where it clicked the needs, the importance of needs, understanding needs.
Yeah.
So how did you get to the service design? Is that from there?
No. Surprise. This is my first interaction with service design in the program.
Okay.
And that's why I said design thinking is cousins of service design. So how I made it, so just to cover this, I agree with you. My life has been crazy, roller coaster. And sometimes I have no idea how did I cross it. And that's why I'm always saying, Alhamdulillah, I swear it has nothing to do with me. No human being can take it without the help of a stronger power. Even if the stronger power is sending people. Even if my parents were there, if a friend was there, if whatever, they're not coming on their own. So I've had this journey. I've had a couple of divorces, and like we can go there if you want, but later on. And my kids, I was a single mom raising 2 kids on my own, living alone in an apartment in Egypt, and this is something completely against our culture. And I don't want to sound bad. It's against the religion for certain reasons. However, I was living on my own. And I got a second marriage, a second divorce. And shortly after the second divorce, my 2 boys were taken from me against my will. It's not like they got kidnapped, but like I sent them to spend a couple of weeks with their father in the United States of America, and he never sent them back. And since then, we got separated. So the boys lives now with the father for the past 3 years, and I only get to see them between 20 to 30 days a year. And that was our first separation, actually. Like Sharif stayed with me, never got separated for 11 years, and Malik 9 years old, 9 years for 9 years, and then the separation happened when they were 11 and 9, and now they're 14 and 12.
So that was just in 2021?
Yeah, 2021. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And that was actually one of the deepest moments. It wasn't in 2021, so for sure, I don't want to frustrate you, but it was in end of 2022. It was end of 2022. I got severe depression. I got severe depression after my second divorce, and I was completely against medication. I have a bad family history, and I remember when I was a child, I would look at some of my family members heavily medicated, and I was scared. And it was just a thought of any human being that, those drugs, like we call medicine drugs, those drugs are bad. No, if you're ever depressed, don't take the medicine. It makes you worse. It makes you crazy. It makes you numb. It takes the life out of you. You keep walking like a ghost, whatever. But if everything is evolving, medicine is evolving also. Like medication are evolving also. The side effects are changing. Sometimes are worse and sometimes are better. I was completely against heavily medication throughout my life, but after my second divorce, I was very de- depressed, and I started taking medicine. And with the loss of my kids, this medicine doubled. I started taking 2 medicines for antidepressants and 1 for mood stabilizer because I would have terrible mood swings. Sometimes I would have the energy to wake up in the morning, put on my clothes, and go to work, and some other days, I would say a lot of S, I wouldn't. I would just, I'm in bed. I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to get out of my room. It's not like I'm committing suicide. I wasn't. I didn't eat, but I would drink water, drink juice, but that's it. I don't want to interact with enough. I had a lot, and I'm young. I always thought about this, aren't there any other people out there to hit it, pass it there? Why it's always on me? A couple of divorces, raising kids on my own, feeling so bad, feeling very poor sometimes, blah blah blah, and all of a sudden, psh, nothing, emptiness. So I was very depressed, taking medicine, still working to make the money that what I will pay the rent of my apartment at the end of the month. And I was just browsing Facebook just like everybody else before you go sleep, like an hour or a couple of hours until you use end of the day. And then I saw a friend posting about a program in Erasmus Mundus, and I just read human centered. I was like, wow, design thinking. I opened the link. The link took me to Erasmus. Erasmus took me to SDSI, and I started reading. I was like, wow, this is a very good program. Never, ever in my life that I thought I will go pursue masters. Because from my point of view, there might be a third people, but I know 2 types of people. Of course, there are other types of people out there, but I didn't meet them. So there are people that would go for masters and PhDs just for the title and just for the certificate and to brag. And there are other people that will go because they really want to. It's not about this, screw the certificate. I just need to learn. And I am the second. I was a manager already, and I got a very decent salary for a person that is living on my own. I had my apartment, I have my car, I had a lot of friends, a lot of freedom. I can do whatever I want. I have the money, but I'm depressed. Take all of that and just give me back my happiness and my kids. So I read about the program, but I knew that I'm old. Remember, I'm in the learning and development field, and part of the learning and development field where we always check the scholarships for masters, for PhDs, for trainings or whatever. And I know I've been in the development, generally speaking, in the development field, and I've worked with the USAID, UNICEF, whatever, a lot of big entities, international entities in Egypt. And I knew that they always grant the scholarships for the students that are either fresh grads, maximum 28. So I was just sleeping on bed. It was just a random thought, and I was depressed. I said I will send an email and check if I'm eligible or not. And I sent the email, and our super Christine replied within 24 hours, and she said, yes, you can apply.
Okay.
I didn't believe it. I was like, am I supposed to email her and say check my age, check my anything? Are you sure? She's like, yeah. And that's when I started reading really about the program. And I had no idea what are the, Latvia. It was my first time in my entire life to hear about Latvia. It's not a very popular country in Africa. And in Estonia as well, but maybe Estonia had this privilege to be heard because they are in the tech. They are ranking somewhere in the world. And Lithuania, I have no idea why, but Lithuania is a little bit more
known.
Yes, more known. So it's like Latvia and Estonia and Finland. And then when I told my parents, he told me, my father specifically said, there's no way you can make. You live in Egypt. We live in 45 degrees. Are you really going to the North Pole? I don't think you're gonna do it. But then,
But I think your character is that you're gonna prove the opposite.
right. And since I read this program, I had this inside me. It was in November 2022, and the deadline was end of Feb 2023. And I said, I will apply for this program. That's it. And to be honest, I started working on everything 10 days before the deadline.
Okay.
The entire thing. Writing the motivation and the project and whatever. And I was doing it to prove myself that I can still fight longer for life. I was depressed. It was very easy for me to let go. But actually, I told my parents and I told my best friends, if I let go this time, that's gonna be it. And you never know when is the last time is coming. And I'm just 34. And whether I like it or not, if life keeps going, I have to keep going. So I just want to apply. It was like, yeah. And then what are you getting out of this application? I was like, I don't care. I don't care if I got chosen. I don't care if I did bad. I don't care anything. I just want to make it to the submission. And I submitted.
Just to give a context, there were 700 people applying in that year to get in, and there were 32 spots, I think.
6 from all around the world, 22 from Europe, and 6 spots from all around the world. So I was applying knowing that, no way. Like the 34-year-old Egyptian hijabi, what the heck? Are you kidding me? No way. And that's why I wasn't putting a high hope. I was just doing it for myself, just to prove that I'm still functioning.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm trying to imagine this depressed lady fills the application, and then you receive the message.
Yeah.
You're in with a scholarship.
I received a message that I've been shortlisted, and then I received another email that they want to have an interview with me. The interview was very nice. I enjoyed it as if I'm talking with you right now. I felt no pressure at all, zero. I was just me. It was a really nice small discussion for 30 minutes. I didn't feel pressure. It wasn't about my knowledge. It wasn't about service design. It wasn't about anything. And then there was that email. Congratulations, you got the scholarship. And then there was the grades, the announcements, and I was looking, and I think I was the 3rd or the 4th on the list from all the 30. I couldn't believe, I'm not a very emotional person. Only when it comes to parenthood, I would cry. But I cried really bad. Like I cried very hard, and I went to my mom. I told her I got accepted. And then my mom she started crying. And then my father was telling what the hell? Are you going to the North Pole? I was like, I'm gonna live in the North Pole. Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay, and then, you received this...
roller coaster.
It's like when I would like to structure, like normally I structure conversations by some kind of like timelines, but your life is so busy that I'm like in and like back and forth. So you like apply February, and then you receive the message whatever, like April.
In March. End of March, I knew that I'm accepted. I got accepted.
Okay, and then you have to move here to Latvia, because this program requires that we study on site in 3 locations. In Latvia, in a small town, Kuldiga, then Finland, Rovaniemi, and Tallinn, Estonia. So we have been the first year studying in Kuldiga, Latvia. And then I'm trying to imagine, so you were depressed because when I saw you in September, okay, let's go that way. So in September when we arrived, we had this like get together dinner, the first one in Kuldīga, and like I could never ever imagine that this lady is depressed. Could never. Like, she's beautiful, she's super outgoing, she's super smiley, and then when we have some talks, and like she's like great at public speaking, so it doesn't kind of like, I don't feel the alignment with the person who is like depressed in Egypt, but I think like it all kind of like blend together, and then there is children in the middle, and then there is like divorce in the middle, and then let me guys
2 divorces in the middle.
2 divorces in the middle, and to surprise you guys more, on November in the class, she comes to me and she said, Linda, do you have a measuring tape? I'm getting married. Linda, do you want to measure my wedding dress? And I'm like, oh,
No
okay.
pressure.
No pressure. Yeah, no pressure. And then we went to the ladies' room and we were measuring and we were talking. And then I get to ask these questions about the hijabi thing and like how does the marriage happen and everything.
Fun.
Like,
Yeah.
I can't cope with
Yeah.
all. Like, tell me, like,
I always wanted to be a stand-up comedian. My life is a stand-up comedian. Like, it's a content for a stand-up comedian. I think it's gonna be great. Like, but 1 year? No, 2 years ago, I was finally diagnosed by a borderline personality disorder. And why am I saying finally? Remember the question from my childhood? What's wrong with me? When you know what's wrong with you, this is a relief. This is a relief when you know that you're not crazy. This is a relief for every single time you said what you're feeling and what you're thinking out loud to people, and they wouldn't understand or relate until someone, another living human being, would tell you, oh, I know what you're going through. I was like, really? Yeah. Do you promise you know? I swear, here is a book, read it. And I started reading, I was like, holy this is me. So when I knew that I had this borderline personality disorder, and it's very complex, like if you want to read about it, it's very complicated because it's not an easy depression and it's not an easy bipolar. It's not an easy mood swings. It's everything in between. It's a lot of internal fights that a human being go through. Sometimes you have the energy, sometimes you don't have the energy. Sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're sad. Sometimes I just texted Linda, for example, 5 minutes ago, telling her, hey, I'm so looking forward to meet you. And when I'm entering the text button, I'm regretting it already. It's everything and it's vice versa. Everything and its opposite. And it drives you crazy. So when I got diagnosed by that, I kind of started learning how not to show and how to work on that. Like, this is the fact, and we're not going to surrender. What are we going to do? Like, this is me and me talking to each other. Let's learn. Let's understand. Let's see what makes us happy. And let's lose drugs. Let's lose the medicine. I can't travel for 2 years in Europe with this amount of antidepressants, because antidepressants has really drugs. Like I have to have a prescription. It's not a medicine that you get on shelf. I was like, I can't. There's no way I'm traveling to Northern Europe with antidepressants. We need to take care of each other, me and me. So I stopped taking antidepressants and mood stabilizers 1 month before coming to Kuldiga. And I arrived here in September, and I'm sober for almost a year. No, like 10 months now. No, 11. Yeah, almost a year. Yay, I'm counting. And I'm dealing with it on my own. So there's no way I can show you what's happening. And there's no way I can tell you what's going on, because I have played this game before and people don't understand.
And I think like this is what makes you unique, and this makes you to understand other people very well, because you kind of like realize that people have life and people have thoughts, people have their things happening, because you have so many things happening and you are the personality who would look from the other's perspective. You would step into another person's shoes. And I think this is what makes you so strong in this field.
Maybe. I don't know. Like, really, I don't know. The only thing that I know that I have the ability and capability to understand very complex things. I would not in a bad way, but I empathize with the criminal and I empathize with the child. I empathize with the mother that hits their kids. But meaning that I empathize does not mean that I accept, that I acknowledge. But I would understand where is that coming from. And if anyone wants to read and understand how our brain works, it's very complex. It's you have to be fighting some certain things in your brain all the time in order to act like the perfect person. And I don't think that there are a perfect person out there. We all have our ups and downs and issues and
Of course.
inner fights and yeah.
Okay, so now it's like you arrive Latvia. Is this your first time in Europe?
Yes, first time in Europe. I'm a traveler. I love to travel on my own. Starting when I like, that was another self discovery because I'm an extroverted person. I always had thousands of friends all over the place. But then after my second divorce, I started traveling on my own. I was like, I want to see what will happen. And to be honest, I regretted on every single year that I kept on holding on to traveling because I'm waiting for other people, because traveling, a solo traveler, is the best thing that can ever do for myself. So I'm a traveler. I've been living in the States before. I traveled to a lot of places in Africa, in Asia, but I've never been to Europe before. So Latvia is my first European country.
Okay, so it's like last year, September, you arrived here. Tell
Yeah.
me, what do you feel? Because you arrived not just like capital of Latvia, but
Yeah.
you are actually arrived Kuldiga, which is a tiny town, tiny historical town.
No, I made this conscious decision that I will arrive to Riga and I will spend 3 days in Riga to understand what's happening, to see the people, to see the culture, because part of my solo traveling is I like cultures. Yeah, I would spend 8 hours sitting doing extremely nothing in front of the beach. But the second day I will be in a market, taking pictures of food, taking pictures of animals, taking pictures of people interacting with each other. I love to look, again, empathy and understanding how, like, who are they? What do they look like? Why are they talking like that? Look at their style, look at their fashion. This is so me. They enjoy music, whatever. So I made a conscious decision to spend 3 days first in Riga. I'm very happy that I made such a decision because I fell in love with Riga. I didn't fall in love with the culture. It was very hard at the beginning. I think still, but now I understand more the people. I fell in love with the country. I found that it's very beautiful. I knew that I'm going to be struggling very much on being one of the very few Muslims in Latvia. Very few. Like, I have no idea how many out there, but it's not like the States. In the States, we will have mosques, we will have halal food, we will have shops where I can buy my own food. Even like they export, they export and they import and whatever stuff from Africa, but not here. Latvia is just so far away, with only Latvians. I believe maybe Riga a little bit felt like there are different nationalities, but of course not as diverse as New York, for example. So I knew that I'm gonna struggle with Islam, not what I have in me, but for Ramadan, the Eid, the mosques, whatever, I knew that I'm gonna struggle. And unfortunately, that was the worst part with the food.
So when you arrived Kuldiga specifically, did you feel it? Because
No, I felt it in Riga right away. And I was like, oh my God, if this is happening in the capital, then what's going to happen when I enter this village that has, I think, 11,000 people, and I'm the only Muslim hijabi girl. I arrived here before, like, we had a classmate from Pakistan, but she came a month and a half later, and she's not a very extrovert person, so she would always stay in. And I'm the only person that is Muslim. I'm the only person that is hijabi, and people are looking at me just like an alien here in Kuldiga. At the beginning, it didn't feel really comfortable. But again, I am a person who taught myself how to look at the positive parts and not the negative parts. And the nature and the beauty here is just like something that you cannot ignore. Like, yeah, I don't have halal food and I will be vegan, I will be vegetarian, I'll be whatever. But I'll be able to look at this beautiful sun. I'll be able to look at this beautiful river, to breathe this clear oxygen. That was my positive highlights. And I believe that I fell in love. Like only now, after living in Cairo, the capital of Egypt, where in Egypt, 114 million people live. And I think in Cairo only, there is about 8 to 10 million of those people.
Yeah.
They live in Cairo, in the capital. And living in LA, California, being to New York, I am a city person. And that has been my first experience in living in a countryside or in a village.
Yeah.
And I believe after Kuldiga, now I am unbreakable. I can live wherever. Just put me anywhere, I will survive. Whoever survived in Kuldiga only with the nature and nothing else can survive anywhere with, but all in all, I fell in love with the nature of this country. It's not about the people of the country. It's about the...
What do you feel about the culture here? Because I would understand what you are talking about being a Muslim lady here, because let's be honest, like in Kuldīga, I haven't seen any except for you and our classmates.
Right, yeah.
So
it's a challenge. It's a challenge being a Muslim here, but to be honest, one incident in 10 months means nothing. I believe that this country is very safe. People will look, but that's the maximum they can do. I didn't have anyone interacting badly. Like there was one incident, but I would rather not talk about it. It's just it has something to do with the human. It doesn't have something to do with... I hate generalization. So if one person doesn't act, it's not generalizing that all Latvians. It's not all Latvians. I haven't seen anything bad from people. They rarely smile here, and this is something that I found it was harder than not being able to eat. Because without the smiling, it feels so cold. And the country is already cold in weather as well. So that was a little bit sometimes very depressing for me. And a person that has this borderline and I have this depression, I only was looking for kind, laughing people. That's it. I didn't want anything else. So probably that was one of the most hard issues that I was fighting here. This is that I really didn't like about the culture. Although they have this beauty, and I feel that only if I'm living in that beauty, I will be a happy person. I will be just smiling all over the place. But this is something that I think that is related, I know. Being empathetical, I read a lot about the people and bringing their psychological damage and traumas from all the worlds that have been happening here. I can't put myself in their shoes because I haven't been there, but I can just understand that I think I would have been maybe the same. But the only thing is, I hope that people will be aware more and more about it and do something about it. Start enjoying rather than living in the past. Just thinking about the future and check about the positive things, what you really have, and just do something about it. You can get unified. Like, it's very hard. I haven't seen my neighbors ever. I saw one of them once.
In the building where you live?
Yeah. We don't know each other's names. We don't smile at each other. This is something that you don't, like in Africa, in Egypt, everybody knows everyone. So that was a little bit hard. Not only that you live in a village and you're the only Muslim, but you're lonely even if you don't want to be lonely. People are lonely here. Everyone is living on their own bubble. And this is something that was the hardest for me.
Interesting. It's like super interesting for me to hear your feedback, and also because you also had the chance to experience international environment, because in the class we are super international. We are like coming from more than 20 countries.
Yeah.
So it's like once you go out of the school campus, it's like locals, but then in the school it's like very international.
Yeah, I think I know that I said that already in the last day of school, that it would have never been the same without this warmness and acceptance inside the class. And I believe it came because I might say that I'm 80% to 90% sure that everybody inside this classroom felt exactly the same as me. Not because I'm Egyptian, because we're human beings. It's not about where we come from. I believe that everyone is coming from a little bit more open countries. Italy, for example, they're very happy. Nigeria, I know Joshua is coming from Africa, for example, so we're both coming. Some where 1.4 billion people live. Judy from Thailand, the happy, the land of smiling people. I would just imagine that every one of them is coming from different, and we were just waiting and looking forward to look at each other's faces, even without doing anything, because every single time we would look at each other, we will just at least smile. And that was something that has been really warm throughout the year. I have no idea, without those people, I think everyone would have been nuts, have gone nuts, really.
Yeah, that's interesting because being a local Latvian here and seeing from the locals' perspective, it's not that people are closed. Well, they kind of are, but like they are also super interested and super willing to communicate in a way, meaning like not maybe on the state that they would walk up to you and invite you to their home, but on the other side, like. My friends and people around would ask questions, and then this was the moment when I noticed that you guys, my classmates, are feeling kind of you're not getting into a local culture because locals are not really like opened. And then meanwhile, being one of the students and knowing the locals, I know that they have questions. They would like to get to know you. They're asking like, where are these people from? How do they feel? And maybe they need something or so. And that's when I realized that maybe let's build some connecting program. And the good part is that we had actually more Latvians than we could take for the next class coming in here next September, because the next students will have their local buddies if they will choose to have one. And these are the local buddies in Kuldīga, local people who have promised to bring these students from all over the world. One student, one local, will bring them to home, will invite to the local family gatherings, and will show celebrations, and will kind of like open up their house. So I would say like there is kind of like a distance, or like there was something needed to help people to overcome this, because it's not that locals are not interested. They are interested and they are willing to invite, but they don't probably know how do they do that, walk up to someone to the street. I know like from some cultures, it's like I have been talking to the others, like in their culture where you go to the restaurant, you could just start talking to the stranger. But as you notice here, people don't even talk to the neighbors. Yeah. So it's not, how do you start a conversation? So we have started this program, and it was super interesting to see when I presented this idea to locals. They were super open, and we had more locals than we could take, because like I think there was there were 20 students wanting to have a local buddy, and we had more than 20 locals willing to open their houses. So I hope we will break this ice at some point.
I really hope because from me wanted to understand why are people acting like this. I started reading a little bit about them in order to be able to empathize, and I knew that one of the biggest fears here is fear of rejection. So I would actually completely understand like am I going to make a fool out of myself? So I just walk and say hello. What if they said like, hey, go away, stranger? I would feel like hurt and like ouch. So I would rather not do something rather than taking the step and being hurt. So there is always this protection, and that's I'm repeating myself by saying that now this is coming from the future. This is something that I can completely understand. But I hope that I believe that if the people opened up to each other, even like forget about us, if they opened up more to each other here, I think you're gonna be in a very like kind of unbeatable nation because I loved very much here. I don't know if this is the thing in all Europe, but what I loved here and I was missing in the States, the essence of the family. You guys have families here. Like in the States, it's a little bit complex. But here, at least you gather once a week, once every 2 weeks, once every month. This is like the hardest family. You have a lot of celebrations and you always see them. Although that you guys talk about yourselves as introverts, but when there is a carnival, even if it's minus 18, you would find everybody in the street and they're having fun and enjoying. And I was like, I think people are also feeling the same thing that we're feeling, the loneliness. And they're looking forward for such a things to go out and even see different people, even if I'm not going to interact because I'm protecting myself. But just seeing them is something happy. So I hope that there will be kind of a behavioral change that starts with an awareness of, hey, what's happening with us? Let's identify what's happening with us. Let's name it and let's agree to disagree, or let's agree that we don't like it and we want to change, or whatever it is.
I think the change is also the change is happening but slowly.
Right.
And like you are the first year here when there are that many internationals living here actually, not just tourists visiting for 1-2 days, but actually living. So this is all your guys bringing maybe the change here.
Hopefully, that will be something really good.
Okay, and I have this important question that I didn't get to ask you because we were like jumping back and forth.
Yeah.
Service design. Let's get back to the service design. How do you describe service design to the people who are not in the field? In easy way, how do you make grandma to understand what is service design?
A service design it's a design process. Service design is a process where we follow to understand what are your needs and bring it in a form of a product or a service that you're willing to put money in. So it's going to be a win-win situation. A win situation for me that I'm going to make money, and a win situation for you that you are going to get exactly what you dreamt about. Not because we're magicians, but because we understood what are your needs, what are your challenges, and what are you looking for, and what are you willing to pay money for.
And how do you think, where is service design a thing? Because like, do you think like in Egypt, people know about service design? Do they care about? Because you have experience in US, do people like there? How do you feel it?
Maybe the name, it differs. There is user experience, there is user experience, there is design thinking, there is only in the sales. They would teach you how to interact with the different personalities. In education, there are learning styles. There are a lot of this human-centered approaches, generally speaking. So the word, the job, the title, it's not there in Egypt yet at all, service design. Very random few people that knows about. But unfortunately, because we are kind of rated to be a third world country, if I bring whatever, they would tell you, bring whatever you're using. Is it a strategy, service, design, apples, oranges, whatever? Just bring it and make my experience better and give me money. Make the experience of my customers better and just bring money. And they would rather care less for what exactly did I use. They would just only think about the results. So service design is not very well known, but I believe it's a thing here in Europe, even more than the United States of America. I would say design thinking is a bit a word, is a buzzing word, has been there in Stanford since IGO came up, then David Kelly. It was in the 90s. It wasn't something. It was out there, but people was like, what are you doing, for example? Like at the end of the day, you're bringing a can. I would have done a can without this long process and whatever, but they just don't understand. It's not any can. It's a can that I would pay. If I saw your can and my can that I invested time in understanding what kind of thing that you like, the color, whatever, I would put my money on this. So And of course, the most used example about this coffee shops. Like and like this is exactly why human beings are very interesting. People wouldn't Sometimes people wouldn't choose a service or a product for what they bring. So for example, you would see a dying patient.
Yeah.
He would say, I would die at my home rather than going to X hospital. It's not about the hospital. It's not about these beds. It's about the people that he's interacting with. But and it would like take me to Y hospital. But Y is a governmental hospital. It's really bad. It's cheap. I don't care. But I get a treatment better there. So people would always put priorities for their needs and emotions over what you're offering. So if you know what exactly do they need, you got them. You got their brain. So for me, bringing all my pieces of puzzles, service design is everything that I want in my life. It's empathy, it's psychology, it's innovation, it's everything. It's iteration. It is bringing, like I feel I'm very powerful with such an ending. You know, they said the cherry on the top. This program with the service design was the cherry on the top of a cake full of pieces from different worlds, like business industry, business administration, training, learning and development, professional development, kids, psychology, design thinking, everything. And then the cherry on the top is, here you go, service design.
And then what about your plans next? Both professionally and in a private life? Because I know you have many things happening in both fields.
Well, to be honest, as you mentioned many times in this lovely interview, that my life is full. Like I am a basket that is already full to its maximum capacity while I'm just turning 36. So I don't really do long-term planning. I just know what I'm good at. I'm good at leadership and I'm good at design. And I would really want to bring impact. Impact within a community, impact within a family, impact within kids, impact within a corporate, whatever it is, just impact. If I impacted someone today by smiling, and this is an impact that you were having a bad day, and I smiled at you at the street, and you felt happy for 1 minute, this is an impact. This is a success for me. And I follow that, whatever it brings. If the service design is in a corporate, is a service design in a training, if someone wants me to work on this project for what, I'm open for anything. My hope is I get a good experience. I would prefer social design, to be specific. In Europe, I would love to have the experience. And if a market is ready for me in Egypt, I would definitely join. If not, I believe that service design and leadership is my part now, where I can teach, where I can train, where I can lead a group of service designers, again, being in the middle management, but within this design thing. That's gonna be my happily ever after ending. And I think this is what I am after this program, just looking for opportunities, and I'm open for any opportunities, because this is what brings joy and happiness for me. And I'm embracing every single piece along the road, and I'm bringing it with me. So I believe that all the pieces that are connected and that are still scattered all over the place will come to a point where everything is put together. If I'm going to invest my entire life, the coming years, in service design. Yeah.
And you mentioned Egypt and Europe. Do you consider US as well? Because the kids are there, and
I have a relationship of love-hate with the United States of America. It's very complicated. Like this is something very very deep psychologically in me. I've had happy days, I've had bad days, I've had I was married there, and then I went back divorced. It's the
Married there. You were married.
no, like I spent years there while I was married, and then I went back at the same places where I'm not married anymore, and I got hurt really badly from my ex husband, and it's the country that I chose to bring the citizenship for my kids, and it's the same country that soaked. They just like sucked my kids. So it's a very complicated love-hate relationship. But one of the reasons why I would prefer Europe, because it's also close to Egypt, and I'm a family person. Although I travel a lot, although I live on my own, far away from my parents, like 45 minutes driving, but I'm a family person. Like I was raised to be a family person. I was raised to meet my family members, like my aunt, mom, dad, my auntie, my cousin, all of those people every Friday. So Europe is just the perfect mix for everything. It's close. It's a foreign currency in comparison to my own currency. Service design is blooming here, so there should be a lot of opportunities for me. And I can travel to the boys whenever I want. They can come to me whenever they want. So as a priority, I'm putting Europe number one. But of course, if I think if I got a real chance in the States, maybe maybe something will change. But for now, like the US is not in my list.
Yeah, and just like going into that topic as well, like you have been separated with the kids since 2021, but I know you guys keep in touch, right?
Yeah, we like sometimes and sometimes yes and sometimes
Because
no.
you have been showing me videos of them and photos, and it's just this conversation when we are in and out. Like normally when we talk, we are a lot about children and like.
Sometimes we would talk every day. Sometimes we would talk every 2 days. Sometimes we would talk every week, 2 weeks. Sometimes we would just know nothing about each other for 3 weeks. It depends on a lot of changing circumstances on their house there. They have internet, no. They have the phones, no. They are punished. They have like there is a lot of circumstances happening there, and the father is 100% controlling. So sometimes I get in touch with them, really frequent, and sometimes no. But the only thing that I know that I only get to see my boys maybe 20 to maximum 35 days a year. So yeah, this is the hardest part.
How do you mean get to see like in life? Like
Get to see them, yeah, physically.
physically?
Yeah, we meet once a summer. So last year they came to Egypt for 30 days. The day before the summer before, I went to California. I met them only for 10 days. And this summer, hopefully we're meeting in Egypt, I believe for only 3 weeks.
But you don't know yet because you told me before.
Yeah,
that
I know for sure that they're coming, but I have no idea when. They keep on changing dates, so it's just a very random thing. I don't have control over that. So I'm just going with the flow. Whenever they're coming, they're coming. And whenever they are leaving, they're leaving.
Oh yeah, and then well, all I can wish here is to have some clarity because I know they miss you too. We have been watching the video that your one of the boys that had that they had recorded in his school where he said that he missed his mom and like it must be well, this is life, ups and downs.
Yeah.
And then life is changing, and you're now married with your husband, and he's here, by the way, in the other room now.
And his kids.
And his
kids are here. They're home.
How old are his kids?
13 and 11.
13 and 11.
13 and 11, yes. A boy and a girl.
Their first time here?
First time in Europe also. So Latvia is their first. stop.
First stop.
Also.
And you're going this summer with them together to Rovaniemi?
Yes, like we're leaving next Sunday. We're going to Rovaniemi, and then from Rovaniemi we're going to Helsinki. From Helsinki to Tallinn, and then from Tallinn to Riga, and then Riga we take the flight back home
to Egypt, and then hopefully you get to see your kids.
Yes, Malik and Sharif are coming to Egypt, so this is where we're meeting all of us. Hopefully.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
I mean, like, I'm not, no, like, you could write a book. We didn't go. We didn't go in detail here, and maybe this is not the time and the place, but we have been talking in detail, and like, it's so inspiring, and I think so many women like often needs to hear it, because Amena is someone who, how to say it correctly, who doesn't give up and who is not ready to suffer if she is treated badly. So she's rather going all against all the whatever family rules, like other rules, like just to do how she feels good. And I think it's super inspiring. And now you are developing your career, and the kids are there, and you have taken care of them for 4 years, and it's all like, yeah, not to cry here.
Yeah.
yeah. The book is coming sometime.
Wait for it.
And I'm really sure we will see Amna in definitely in public speaking fields. I really see that, and like if you guys need some public speaker, Amna is there.
And hopefully we're bringing a project to the Latvian market. Maybe.
Yeah, they have developed some really strong project in this Philips Challenge. They are the finalists.
Yes, finalists. So we're pitching tomorrow a service that we developed for family doctors. That will not only impact family doctors. It's going to be it has a huge impact. Like, this is a great project that have a big impact with the patients, with the family doctors, with the specialists, with the practitioners, with the government. So hopefully we brought a good service into the market, and we are really considering of bringing it to the market here in Latvia. Of course, nobody hates money, and whoever said that is just not honest with themselves. But this is what I love about service design. Like, the desire of the impact is much more stronger. We have spoke with the people, we empathize with the people, we know exactly what they want. So if we're bringing it, this is a success for me. And the success will definitely bring money. The money brings reputation. Like, the success brings reputation, and the reputation brings business, and the business brings money. It's a cycle that will never end, and it will be ever growing. But if you have this mindset of a service designer who is empathetic and who never give up, and who's really thirsty for the change, I believe that those kind of people that they never fail, because they don't fall when they fail. They learn. This is much, much more powerful than anything else in the world.
Oh yeah, and then this project is again like a proof that like how high you can go, because like how many teams were applying?
There were 150 teams
from all over the world.
Yes, from all around the world, and then in round 2 we got 32. And then now this is the last round. This is round 5. We are only 16 teams, and out of those 16 teams, they will choose first, second, third place for each brief. Our brief was part of the Philips, like the international company Philips, has something to do with the fragmentation of healthcare. So tomorrow we're pitching for the jury. They are choosing the first and the second and the third place. But then among those 4 briefs, they will get the first place, put them in an incubation for 8 weeks. So hopefully to help them even draft the service even stronger. Hopefully, if we got chosen to be the first people, that means that we are one step closer to the Latvian market, because we are really considering that it's very needed here, and we're willing to give our all to make it work, to help the people here.
And it's again, how dig you deep, because Amna has been digging deep in this project. I mean, the whole team, but I know Amna went to Latvian doctors meeting where they spoke in Latvian.
I spoke with people in the streets. I spoke with general practitioners. I spoke with people working at the children's hospital. I spoke with people who teach in, what is RSTU? Riga.
Student University.
Thank you so much. I spoke with investors in the health industry, in the AI. I spoke with a lot of people, actually, a lot of Latvian people who are international and English speaking were very helpful. They helped me a lot. I knocked doors, and actually people, when they receive this knock of a door, most of them, they open the door.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking. There is needed some
Yeah.
how to open this bridge, how to
I just knocked the door and they opened. Although a lot of people tell me, hey, those people are very important, they don't have time to reply. But they replied, and they gave me, some of them gave me 2 hours of their times. They were there. And I believe those kind of people that are that's what I'm telling you. They're thirsty for the change. They're thirsty for the impact. There's nothing wrong with the success. If you're thirsty to be successful and you're doing it the proper way, the correct way, the ethical way, I think this is going to change the entire country, really. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, this has been a super nice conversation, Amna, and it's even I'm very honored to be with you in class.
Me
And I'm
too.
super honored to go with you even further, to go together to Rovaniemi, to Finland, and to continue our journey there. And I mean, Amna has so many qualities, and I think there is all the chances to go high, and that's all I wish for. And I hope we will hear about you more. And the final question: where people can connect with you if they want to? What do you prefer?
Oh, I'm very active on the Facebook, millennial. I'm very active on my Facebook, and I have email and LinkedIn. So Facebook, LinkedIn, and my email address. I'm very responsive to those 3 channels.
Okay, we will put them in the description.
Sure.
Because I think Amna is worth to connect. Okay, cool. Thank you very much, Amna, for coming here.
Well,
and it's
Linda,
been
thank
a
you so
pleasure.
much. And I'm flattered. I'm super you touched me deep down, and I believe that this is too much for me. I'm just a person that is trying. Really. Thank
Okay,
you so
before
much.
we cry here, before we cry here, we need to finish this, and we will hug right after I save this podcast, so we have it. And thank you very much, guys, for listening, and let's follow Amna. Cool. Thank you. Ciao.
Ciao.